Hey everyone, welcome back, and happy 1 year anniversary to the Mattel Jurassic World line. April 16th, 2017 was the official street release date, and what a fantastic year it's been for this line for collectors and kids alike. Mattel has given this line the respect it deserves, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't start collecting the Mattel line until November of last year when a good friend of mine wanted to get the Quest for the Indominus Rex set, but didn't want a second Mosasaurus, so I told him I'll split it. He sent me the Mosasaurus, and since that day, I have been absolutely hooked on this line and have been out collecting, hunting multiple times a week ever since then. Mattel has restored my faith in the Jurassic franchise. I know a lot of people, including myself, were very disappointed the way Hasbro handled the Jurassic World toy line. Those figures are just horrible, and I just kind of forgot about the line until Mattel came around and I got back into it after my friend sent me the Mosasaurus. I've been collecting when Kenner had the line for JP1 and the Lost World. I stopped when Hasbro took over for JP3. Just didn't really like the style of those figures. So to give you guys an idea of how this little 6-part series is going to work, we're going to talk about different figures from the line, like the assortments that they're in and how they changed. Like I know, like for example, the Stegosaurus was part of the Action Attack line, which eventually became the Dino Rivals Mega Dual Attack assortment. So we're going to talk about the figures that came out in those assortments and what is coming out in the future, and it's going to turn into a review for each of these figures that are out on display right now, and it's all going to lead into a review later on next week of a very, very highly anticipated Jurassic collectible. And I'll give you a hint, it's not from Mattel, and a lot of people have been looking forward to this thing since it was announced. So with all that out of the way, we're going to start with part 1, which will consist of the large dinosaur assortment. And we're going to start with the Thrash and Throw Tyrannosaurus Rex. So let me clear all this off, and we're going to jump right into this. So starting with part 1, we're going to be talking about the large dinosaur assortments, and we're going to be starting with the Thrash and Throw Tyrannosaurus Rex, which was one of the first figures that hit the street last year when the line debuted. Other figures that came out at the same time was the Mosasaurus, which had that rubber real feel skin, and the super colossal Tyrannosaurus Rex, which was a huge 3-foot long T-Rex figure, which I sadly don't have because I don't have the room for that because I collect a million things, and the superposable Indoraptor and the STEM Anatomy Tyrannosaurus Rex kit, which I have never ever seen on store shelves. Later on, as the line progressed, the superposable Indoraptor and the super colossal T-Rex got repackaged in the Dino Rival packaging, which is the current packaging for the line in this point in time. And a few months ago, the Bite and Fight T-Rex came out, which was kind of like a retool of the Thrash and Throw T-Rex. And in another month or so, we should be seeing the Indominus Rex, which I think will replace the Thrash and Throw on shelves. Target has had this thing on clearance for $20 now. This used to retail for $39.99. So if you haven't got it yet, pick it up on clearance. It is a fantastic deal. And the reason I think the Indominus will replace it, that they're both the same price point, and shelf space is limited in these stores, so I fully believe the Indominus Rex is going to replace the Thrash and Throw down the line. And we also got a Super Colossal Blue that's supposed to be coming out, and a picture surfaced of the Legacy Collection Extreme Chomping T-Rex in the Dino Rival packaging. The Extreme Chomping T-Rex was part of the Legacy Collection, which is exclusive to Target, but it looks like it's getting repackaged in the new Dino Rival packaging, so that might be more for an international release. So moving on to the review of the Thrash and Throw T-Rex. The size of this guy is pretty good. It is a large figure. It is just about 22 inches long and just under 9 inches when it's standing in this neutral position. You can see it's in a light brown color with some darker brown markings along the back. It does not match perfectly to what Rexy looked like in Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, but it's close enough. It's still I don't hate the color scheme at all. I think it still looks good on this figure. The sculpting and detail on this figure is fantastic, and probably my favorite part of this figure is that really, really nice JP style Rex head, and they actually even gave it that binocular vision, which is absolutely fantastic. Figure has a lot of nicely sculpted detail. I mean, that Rex head looks absolutely fantastic. A lot of fine detail and scales along the head. You got the nice bony crest and nose. The teeth are nicely painted. Got a nice shiny gloss on the tongue to give it that wet look. And there's a lot of scars on this girl. We know that this particular Rex has been through a lot in the franchise. You got some of the slashes from when she fought off the raptors inside the visitor center at the end of Jurassic Park 1. And she has a lot of scratches and claw marks from her fight with the Indominus Rex in Jurassic World. This figure does have a decent amount of articulation, but most of it is controlled by the action feature, which I will get to in a moment. But the arms do rotate. The claws are not painted on the arms. The legs have a pivot, which helps in stability of the figure. This figure does have a habit of sometimes falling forward. You're just going to play around with the hip pivot. And the feet can rotate, which also helps with stability. Now that is all the articulation on this that is movable until you use the action feature. So this figure has an action feature and electronic sounds. So to activate those, what you want to do is grab the figure by the leg and the tail, and by pulling the tail down, you'll get a nice JP Rex roar, and the mouth will open. And by turning the tail side to side, you can get that nice thrash in action, and by lifting the tail up, it will snap its jaws to grab its victim. Which is a really, really cool feature. It's kind of tough to get it to actually snap something up in its mouth, so what you most likely will have to do is open the mouth and place a victim inside, like this poor Gallimimus, and just have him shake the life out of it. And it also has the trademark T-Rex stomping sound. There is a button on the bottom of the foot that you push when you can make the figure like walk around, and it will give you those thundering footsteps. You have your T-Rex announcing its presence from like 10 miles away. So with all the electronics and action features out of the way, it's comparison time. So the best part about the Mattel line is that most of the figures scale really well with each other, and this T-Rex scales great with most of the line. So first up is Alan Grant. See, they scale beautifully together. And here is the Attack Pack Gallimimus. And here is Dino Damage Blue. It's great that the Raptor and the Rexes scale great in this line, because I know like my biggest issue, even back in the days with Kenner, that they just made a lot of big Raptors and it just didn't look good when you're playing with them with your T-Rex. And here is the Roar of War Ceratosaurus, if he will stand. Is he going to stand? Yeah, he stands. And some of the other T-Rexes in the line. Here it is with... This is the Legacy Collection Green Tyrannosaurus Rex. And here it is with the Bite and Fight Tyrannosaurus Rex. And this is pretty much a remold, retool of the Thrash and Throw. Oop, he's going to tip. So you can see how those stack up together. So the difference with the Bite and Fight, since they're pretty much the same size figure, this one doesn't have any electronic lights and sounds. You just push a button on the back and the mouth will swing to the side to bite, and it has a tail whip-in feature for the other back button. And no comparison is complete without the Spinosaurus. Now, I think the Thrash and Throw T-Rex, for the size of the Spinosaurus that when it appeared in JP3, is a little too big. I think the Legacy Collection mold scales much better with the Spinosaurus. And there they are. And for the next comparison, we're going to go old school. Here is the old, original Kenner Red Rex. And part of the reason I love the Thrash and Throw T-Rex is it pays a nice homage to the original Kenner T-Rex. It's got that stomp in action, it's got the electronic roar, and it's almost like a hybrid homage because it has the thrashing feature that was found on the Kenner Lost World T-Rex. And also, like, because I already said earlier that I think the Indominus Rex is going to eventually replace the Thrash and Throw on shelves. I'm sure this figure will be back in some form. The T-Rex is the mainstay of any Jurassic line, and I would absolutely, since Mattel loves doing repaints, I would absolutely love, I don't care if it's the Legacy, the Thrash and Throw, Bite and Fight, even the Super Colossal, if they did a repaint in the Kenner Red Rex style, I would absolutely love that, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to see that. And for the last comparison, I'm going to bring back some painful memories for some of you. Here is the Hasbro Jurassic World Stomp and Strike Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, this is the only Hasbro Jurassic World toy I have in my collection. Some of you might remember a couple months ago, I randomly found this thing sitting on the shelves in Target among the Mattel Jurassic World stuff. I ended up grabbing it on clearance for like $16 just to remove it. If you want to see the video when I first found this, I will leave a link in the description. So thanks for checking out part 1 of my little anniversary special. Absolutely love this line so much, and this Thrash and Throw T-Rex is definitely one of my favorites. So if you haven't picked this guy up yet, definitely get him. He's on clearance. I don't know how much longer we're going to see this guy on shelves. And check back in a day or so. I'll have part 2 up, which will consist of the Roar of War line. And as always, guys, don't forget to hit like and subscribe.